So what is clustering? What we can talk about what is clustering. We talk about the clustering. So what is that? Clustering is a process. Clustering is the process. Okay. Through clustering is the process, or you can say that it is used to it is used for it is used for two things. Number one, for network load balancing and failover clustering. Now, first we talk about the clustering. So clustering is what? It's a process. Okay. So we need to understand the two terms before we'll discuss what is load balancing and failover clustering. We need to understand the two terms, clustering and cluster. So clustering is what? It's a process. It is used to it is used for it provides you two features: network load balancing and failover clustering. Now, what is the cluster? If you can say that, so cluster is a logical component in the servers. Okay, what is that? It's a cluster is what? It is the logical component. It's a logical component. Okay, it is used to. It is a logical component. It is used to contain servers who provide the same resources. Okay, now imagine that, like example, we'll take the example, like imagine that I have a company. Okay, this is the company, you can say that. Okay, and we have one server name, web servers. Okay, this is the server, you can say that. Okay, that is a server one. Okay, and we can call it the web server. Web server is what? Web server means through web server we can host the websites. Okay, like you like how you can access the websites. Like imagine if you want to access google.com, if you want to access yahoo.com, if you want to access youtube.com. So these are the websites. In the back of these websites, servers is running. That server is known as web servers. So web server is used to maintain or manage your websites, web pages. Okay, through web server we host the websites, we manage the websites and web pages. Okay, so now imagine that my company name is uh, Sid Private Limited. Okay, and my website name is, imagine that I'm using www.sid.com. This is the website I have. Okay, so I post this website on this web server, and with the help of this web server I manage my website like this. Okay, fine. Now imagine that right now what happens, like right now I have 200 clients. We have these 200 clients or users, you can say that. It's not a client, it's the users. These 200 users are able to access my website regularly. Okay, I have how many users? I have 200 users, and these users are access my website every day. Okay, so now I have that much capability on my server. So this server is easily managed, these 200 users, and my website is running very fine. Now what happens in that case? What happens, like in future, what happens, like after 1 or 2 months, my user is suddenly increasing. Okay, and now it goes to 500 now. Now I have 500 users who accessing my website daily. Now, what happens in that case when 500 users are accessing my website? My website has some slow because my server is not able to manage those that load, that 500 users at one time. Okay, at one stretch, at one time, 500 users are able to access my website. So what happens? My web server is not able to manage that load. So what we can do? We can create multiple servers. Like imagine I can create multiple servers. Like I create another server, web server. Okay, this is my second web server, you can say that. Okay, and we have, this is my server 2, as you can say that. server 2. This is the server 2 we have. Okay, and this server is also known as a web server. Web server 2, we can call this known as. This is web server 1. Okay, fine. So now I place web server 2 over there, and I host this same web page to this server as well. So what happens in that case? Now we have two web servers who providing the same web page. Okay, so now I want that I need load balancing. So what can I do? I make one cluster. I make one a logical cluster, logical component cluster. I make one, you can say that I install cluster services in my server, and I make one logical cluster over there like this. Like imagine this is my logical cluster we have. This is my logical cluster. I make this cluster, okay, and I add both the servers in this cluster. And what this cluster do? This cluster automatically do load balancing. Half of the request goes to server 1, half of the request goes to server 2, like this. So cluster is what? Cluster is a services. Okay, it's a logical component, you can say that, and it is used to contains the servers who provide the same resources. So like imagine if you have multiple servers, like we have three DHCP servers, three DNS servers, three web servers. So I need to create three clusters in that case. One for DHCP, I can add all the DHCP servers in that particular cluster. One for DNS, I can add all the DNS servers in a particular cluster, and then one for web servers. And I can add all the web servers in the particular cluster. So I can create cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3 like this. And they provide me the load balancing services. So with the help of load balance, we can define the load of my network with on the two servers. Understood, both of you, Sai Teja and Teja? Clear till now? Okay, so remember one thing also, that in one cluster, we add 32 servers. Okay, in one cluster, how many servers we add? We add 32 servers, not more than that. Okay, so it means that if I have 32 web servers, or if I have 32 DHCP servers, if I have 32 DNS servers, and if I have 32 file servers, so we can add one cluster and we can add all the servers inside the cluster. Okay, clear? So this is what we have, a cluster. Okay, clustering is the process. After creating the cluster, we need to define the clustering services. Like what services we need? We need load balancing, network load balancing, or we can go for failover clustering. Understood? Okay. Okay, clear till now? So this is what we have, a network load balancing. Now next we have a failover cluster. If you talk about the failover cluster, so failover cluster is what? We talk about the failover cluster or failover clustering, you can say that. So failover clustering is what? If you can say that, like imagine that, like I was showing you, like this is my cluster. This is my cluster. Okay, in this cluster, I have three web servers. I running three web servers in this cluster. Okay, like we have a three web servers I am added in this cluster, 1, 2, and 3, like this. Okay, so here it is, server 1, server 2, server 3. Okay, we have three web servers. Now imagine that. Now what happens in the failover clustering? Failover clustering provides you the fault tolerance. It provides you what? It provides us fault tolerance. It provides us fault tolerance. Fault tolerance means, like if my one server is down, second server is automatically up and provide the same services. Okay, in the failover clustering, all the servers are not running at the same time. No. Okay, one server is running. You can say that one server is working as active, and other two servers as working as a standby mode. These two are in standby mode. Okay, so what happens in that case? If my active server is down, like imagine if this is my active server, if this server is down, if my active server is down, okay, so standby server automatically become active. Okay, and he provides the same resources. Understood. Now, who tells that? It's a part of clustering. That clustering automatically decides which server is up, whether it's for server 2 or whether it's for server 3. Who is becoming active server, whether it's a server 2 or server 3, like this. Okay, fine. So failover clustering means it provides us fault tolerance. If my one server is down, second or maybe third server is automatically up and provide the same resources. That's what we have a failover clustering. I'll give you the demo only. Okay, we'll read this in details also in upcoming lectures. Understood? Okay, clear. Understand what is clustering? So clustering is what? It's a process. Okay, and what is cluster? It's a logical component where it contains your servers. Which servers who providing the same resources. Like if I have two DHCP servers, two DNS servers, so I'm not able to create one cluster and add all four servers in one cluster. No, for DHCP server we need to create separate cluster. For DNS servers we need to create separate cluster. Or if you have a web server, so we need to create separate cluster for web servers as well. Okay, understood. Fine. So like this we have the things. Okay, so if you want to go for that, so like this is what we have. Okay, so now we'll talk about first NLB clustering first. So now we'll talk about in detailed what is NLB. So I already told you NLB clustering. So NLB clustering is used to provide the load balance. It is used to provide the load balance. Okay, between between the servers. Okay, so like if you have multiple web servers, so it is used to provide the load balancing between the servers. Okay, so with the help of NLB we can do load balancing. Okay, it gives me a load balancing, as you can say that. Okay, so I already told you that in one cluster, in one NLB cluster, we can add 32 servers, not more than that. Maximum 32, not more than that. Because if you have a 32 servers, so we can add like this. So what NLB do? NLB directs the traffic, okay, between the servers. Okay, fine, like this. Clear? So I'll showing you how it's done. So like imagine that this is the servers we have. Like this is the server 1, here is the server 2, and here is the server 3. We have three servers. Okay, three web servers I have. Okay, I put this here, and we have one client over there. Like imagine this is the client. Okay, this is the client 1 we have. Okay, and these are the web servers. Server 1, server 2, server 3. Okay, like this. Okay, now imagine that what happens in that case. Now these servers are attached with the cluster. So like this is the cluster, as you can see that. Okay, this is my cluster. Okay, this is the cluster I can create, logical cluster. Okay, and I can add all these servers in this cluster like this. These servers are added in this cluster like this. Okay, and this cluster has a unique IP address. Like imagine this cluster IP address is 100.100.0.0.1. Okay, and the server IP address is imagine 100.0.0.2 over there 100.0.0.3. Okay, and over there 100.0.0.4. So if this client want to access the website, so what this client do? When client try to access that web page, okay, I can add the same web page to all the servers. Like over there I can add set.com www.set.com web page. I can publish this web page over there also. Okay, over there also. Okay, and over there also I publish this everything. This is same page to all the web servers. Okay, so now client want to access this web page. So I tell their client, okay, you need to access this IP address. If you want to access this page, you want to access this IP address. So first, client request. So once client is start accessing this page, so what happens? First, client request goes to that cluster. Okay, fine. Now cluster checks which server is free. Okay, like imagine that cluster checks first server 1, it's busy. Imagine now cluster checks server 2, it's also busy, it's taking some other request. So now if it checks server 3 is busy, free. So what this request automatically send by cluster to server 3, and then server 3 has make the session and revert back to the cluster, and then cluster revert back to the client, like this. So client is able to access this. So like this. So always client access this cluster, client sends the request to the cluster, and cluster checks there accordingly that which server is free or which host is free. So he is able to assign the request. Okay, we can define the priority as well in this. Okay, priority means first request goes to server 1, then server 2, then server 3. I want this, I want that. First request go to server 1. If server 1 is busy, then request goes to server 2. If server 2 also busy, then request goes to server 3. Okay, so we can set the priority over there. So like imagine that over there I can set the priority P1 over there, P1. Over there I can define P2, and over there I can define P3. Okay, so automatically first request goes to server 1. Server 1 has, if server 1 is busy, then request goes to server 2. If server 2 is also busy, then request goes to server 3. Okay, who has the least priority, first the request goes to there. Okay, understood these things, right? Okay, so like this, your server is your cluster is running. A cluster is means managing the NLB cluster over there. So like this is the NLB cluster we have. I'm creating the NLB cluster over there. Okay, so like this is the way how NLB cluster is working. Okay, this is the way how it's direct the traffic. Okay, fine. So this is what we have. So this is the theoretical part of your NLB cluster. Now in NLB clustering, we need to configure so many things also. Like we just today we could cover the theoretical part, and then tomorrow we'll see the practical also. So over there, like if I talk about the NLP clustering, so in NLP clustering we need to cover so many things. Like number one, we need to configure the port rules. Okay. Number second, in NLP cluster, when I'm going to create the NLP cluster, we need to configure these things: port rules, okay, affinity, okay, and host parameters. Host parameters. Okay, so these are the things we need to understand. Okay, what is this? Fine. So if we talk about the port rules, so in port rules we need to define that which port we are using in the web servers. Like if I talk about the web pages, so web pages by default works in port 80. Okay, if your web page is secure, so it works on a port 443. Okay, so by default your web page works on port number 80 because web pages works on HTTP protocol. Okay, HTTP. So HTTP by default works on port number 80. So when you define port over there, port number 80 in that. I define that I need configure NLB clustering on port number 80. So in port rules, we need to define the port number 80 in that case. Okay. Now next, we need to understand in the port rules, we need to define the things also. That if I go for port rules, so in port rules, port rules. So in that we need to define the rule also. That number one, we need to define the port number 80. That okay, my clustering is enabled only on port number 80. Okay, and in that they have two things: multiple host. Okay, and we have a single host option. When I define this, I'll showing you these options also in the practical way also. So if we talk about the multiple hosts, so multiple host means that if we choose the multiple hosts, so it means that your NLP clusters automatically, you can say that automatically, based on the performance, automatically, you can say that your request automatically synchronize with different servers. Okay, like imagine, like as I told you, already, that if this client request to the request to this cluster, so first request goes to server 1, then server 2, then server 3. Okay, so by default we're using the multi-host. So multi-host means that it checks the performance first. If you can say that server 1 performance is low and he's already you can say that solving other queries. Okay, so automatically what cluster do, cluster automatically send that queries to server 2 automatically in that case. Okay, so it works on performance where I need to forward the query in multiple host. Okay, if you're like imagine that if my server 1 is down. Okay, so NLP cluster automatically forward the queries to server 2 and server 3. Okay, I don't want to configure anything on that. So that's what we have, a multiple host. Okay, now next we have a single host option is also there. So single host means that your queries automatically redirects to a specific as per the highest priority. Okay, single host works on highest priority. Okay, single host works on highest priority. Highest priority means like imagine that it automatically you can say that directs the traffic who has highest priority. Like imagine in this case, who has highest priority? Server 3 has a highest priority, priority 3. Okay, so it automatically, every time he automatically sends the request to server 3 automatically. It doesn't matter whether whether he is a busy or not. He automatically sends first query to server 3. If server 3 is busy, then this relocate the queries to server 2 and server 1 in that case. Okay, so single host always works on highest priority. Remember these things. Okay. Okay, understood? Clear? Okay. So that's what we have, a port rules. So we need to define the port rules like this. So by default we work on multiple host over there. Okay, great. Now next we need to understand is affinity. In affinity, what we need to define, we need to define the NLP cluster working, how your NLP cluster works. Okay, so in affinity we have three options: none, single, okay, and network. We have three options. Okay. Okay, now imagine that what in none, like if I first talk about the single. So if I define in cluster, in that cluster, you can say that in this cluster, if I define affinity none over there, so what happens if this client, like imagine that this is a client 1. Okay, if this client sends query to the cluster, okay, he send this he send this client queries to any server, means the server is free who attend this client query, and he is able to sorry, I'm sorry, it's not in single. Like imagine that this client 1 sends the query first time. Okay, now imagine that your NLP cluster sees that server 1 is free, so he directs this query to server 1, and server 1 resolve this query. Okay, and give the answer to the cluster, and then cluster revert back to the client like this. Like this is the first step. Okay, first time this client sends a query, and first time that time the server 1 resolve this client query. Now if I choose over there single, I'm sorry, we talk about the single first, not none. I'm talking about the single first right now. Okay, I'm talking about the single over there. So in single, what happens if first time this client query resolved by the server 1? So every time what happens, like imagine that second time again this client again sends one query to this cluster, the same query, as you can see that. Okay, he want to access the web page. Okay, so now cluster what do, cluster what happens that time also, cluster sends the query to server 1. He not sends the query to other servers. It doesn't matter whether your server is free or not, because first time server 1 resolve this client query. So in single, the server who resolved the client 1 query, always he resolved the client 1 query in that case. The server 1 is always resolve the client 1 query. It doesn't matter whether the server that time is free or not. That was the issue in single affinity. The single affinity means every time he sends the query to that server, okay, the server who resolved the client 1 query. So if client 1 sends the query again and again, so cluster every time sends the query to server 1 to resolve. Okay, fine. Understood, both of you? Sai, Teja and Teja? Okay. So if we talk about the none, so none means what? Like imagine that client 1 sends the query again, okay, and first time, this time it sends the query first time, and first time its queries goes to server 2 and server 2 resolve this query like this. Okay. Now again, no, server 1 is up, you can see that, but server 1 is busy, as you can see that. Right now, server 1 is busy, as you can see that. It's busy. Not down, it's busy. It's busy to some other queries. Okay. So now, first time client 1, server 2 resolve the client 1 query first time. Okay. Now, if I using none over there, so it doesn't matter that it resolve the query to server to resolve the query to client 1. Next time, if this client, imagine, again resolve the query, the same query. If this client again have that same query, okay, and the same query sends to the cluster, NLB cluster, it doesn't it not mandatory that it sends to server 2. It sent to any other server, like imagine that at that time the server 1 is free, so it sends a query to server 1, and then server 1 resolves the query. It doesn't mean that if server 2 resolves the query to client 1, so always server 2 is always resolve the query to client 1. No, in none we don't have that thing. Okay, in none affinity, any server resolve the any query. It doesn't matter whether the query comes to first time, second time, third time, or fourth time. But in single, what happens if client 1 first query resolved by server 2? So every time client 1 query is resolved by server 2 only. Okay, understood, both of you, right? Okay, now the last one we need to understand is network method. So network method only works on their IP addresses. Okay, like I defined that. Okay, if this client comes on client C, means class C. Okay, so what happens, like imagine I told the network that, okay, if client comes on class C, okay, you need to send the queries to server 3. I defined network wise, like you said that server 1 resolve the class A network queries, server 2 resolve the class B network queries, and server 3 resolve the class C network queries. So you can say that, if imagine that if this server belongs to class A or class C network. So what happens if this server sends the query? So first query sends to the NLB cluster work on network, so it automatically sends this queries to server 3. So it works on your network works on network addresses, means your class of network, which class network I need to go for which server. Okay, so we can define that. Okay, class A network queries are resolved by server 1, class B network queries resolved by server 2, and class C network queries resolved by server 3, like this. Okay, understood, fine. So that's what we have in affinity. Understood? We have three terms. We need to understand these three terms. Okay, none, single, and network. Clear, both of you, right? Okay. Now last one we need to understand is host parameters. So host parameter means, now what is the parameters we can use to add the host, to add the servers in the cluster. So we have a parameters, like on the base of priority, as I already told you, we have a priority method. Priority is there. So we have a methods, like with the help of base of priority, we can add the servers in the cluster. So when I'm going to add the servers in the cluster, automatically server gets the priority. Like imagine if first I add server 1, okay, so server 1 automatically get priority 1. If I then after that I can add server 2, so it's automatically get priority 2. If I add server 3, it's automatically get priority 3, like this. Okay, you can change these priorities as well. Like you want that, okay, I don't want to give priority 1 to server 1, so you can change it also. They ask you which priority you want to give. Okay, so the lowest priority always has the request. First request goes to the lowest priority, least priority server. Okay, so we can define with the help of priority. Okay, so we can define the priorities, that which priority you want to give to the servers. Number second, we have a dedicated IP address. Okay, so with the help of IP addresses also we can add the servers in the in the cluster. Okay, with the help of third, with the help of subnet mask also, we can define the subnet mask also to add the servers in the cluster. Okay, understood. So these are the three parameters: priority, dedicated IP addresses, and subnet mask. So with the help of these parameters, we can add the server. So by default in NLP clustering, we use priority. So if you not define the parameters, so by default NLP clustering using priority. So once you add the servers, it automatically gives you the priority. Okay, priority 1, priority 2, priority 1, priority 2, priority 3, like this. Okay, so you can define the priority by yourself also, that which priority you want to give. Okay, understood both of you, right? Clear? Fourth parameter is known as host state. Host state means what's the host state you have, whether it started or suspended or stopped. We have a host state also. Number one, started, suspended, okay, and stopped. Okay, like this. Okay, so host means your server, means whatever server you can add over there. Okay, whatever server you can add in the cluster, what their status, whether it is started, whether it is suspended, or whether it is stopped, like this. Understood? Okay, so it checks the host state also, your server states also. Like imagine if I create one cluster and I can add all the servers in that cluster, so it checks the cluster the cluster the server parameters. Okay, whether it is works on priority or dedicated IP addresses or subnet mask, whether what's the status of the server, the server is started or suspended or stopped, what happens with the server. Okay, understood both of you? Clear? Okay, so this is what we have a theoretical part of NLP clustering. Okay, so for practical, what we need, I'll tell you the requirements only. Okay, what we need, what the hardware we need. So we need three servers, as you can see that we need three servers. Okay, one server is a PDC, my primary domain controller, which is already there. So we not add primary domain controllers. We need to two servers. We need two member servers, as you can see that we need two member servers. Okay, I make this member servers as this member servers working as web server web servers. Okay, I make this server as a web servers, and I can install, and I need to install NLB clustering services. Okay, in servers NLP clustering services, there we need to install manually. So we need to I need to install these two servers on this services, clustering services. I need to install this clustering services on these two servers, and then we can define the clustering. Okay, fine. So we need three servers for this. One is PDC. PDC is for domain controllers. So I'm not adding domain controllers in the clusters. Remember this. We do not add domain controllers in the clusters. So we need to create two member servers, In that two member servers, I make the servers as a IS servers first, and then I can install NLB clusters on both the servers. And after that I can create the cluster and I can add both the servers in the cluster. So we'll go for three servers because I already told you. Okay, like this, we have three servers. Like this is my main server. Okay, the PDC one. This is the PDC. Okay, and I have two member servers, which I told you in the last class. Two member servers. Member server one. Okay, and we have a member server two. Okay, fine. And these two servers is becoming a web servers. Okay, web server one. Okay, we can deploy one page. Web server 2. Okay, and then I can install NLB feature also in both the servers. I can also install over the NLB feature. Okay, and once I done all these steps, then I can configure NLB clustering in a particular server, in any server. Okay, and we can see how it works. Okay, fine. So this is what we have. This is what we need. So let's go for the things. So this is the server. Point to access once. Okay, so we have three servers: server one, server two, and server three. Okay, fine. So I'll go for server one first. Server one is my DC, so I don't want to do anything on the DC. Okay, but still I need to open this. Yeah, it's already working. Fine. I don't want to do this. Now I'll go to server two, and I can do two things. I can install two services in this server two. Okay, one is web server services, and second is NLB clustering services. So I'll go to my and just log in with the domain credentials in server two. So server two is already becoming my member server. Okay, which we already configured, because this is the DNS. We already configured the DNS spectacles in that. Okay, in that servers. So what I do now, I just simple go to my server manager. And if I need to become this server as a web server, so what I need to do, I need to install IIS server role, okay, and NLB clustering feature, okay. So I'll go for add roles. If I not install this NLB, if I not install this NLB feature, so what happens? These servers are not able to add in the clusters. That's why we need NLB feature to every server. Like if I have 20 servers, I need to add, and all those 20 servers has this NLB feature installed. Okay, if you not install these features, you are not able to access. You're not able to add the server in the cluster. So click on add roles and features, and simply click on next, next, next. Now I just go for IIS. As you can see that web server IIS. I just check this in role. Right now I'm in roles. Okay, as you can see that I'm in roles. I just check web server over there, and in features, next features over there we can use NLB, network load balancing. Over there you can see that we have the option network load balancing feature is there. Let's check this option. Add features. Okay, click on next. Click on next. It takes automatically some IIS components. Now click on next. Okay, enable automatic restart. Click on yes and click on install. I do same thing in server 3 also. Because I just minimize this server and I open server 3 now. Okay, it's closed already. Okay, let's first start this server. Okay. Okay, so I just log in with the login in the server with my domain credentials. Okay, now I'm going to open server manager. Add rules and features. Click on next, next. Okay, this is 100.0.0.4 next. Okay, so I go for web server and I'm going for NLB over there. Network balancing. This is the network balancing feature is there. Installed. So in both the servers, both the services are going to install. In server 2, I hope yes installed. In server 2, everything is installed. NLB feature also and web servers also. Close it. Close this task manager. Server manager, sorry. Now we'll check with the server 3 as well. So it's going to install in server 3 as well. Okay, understood both of you, Sai, Teja and Teja, what I did till now, right? Okay. Now, if you want to check whether my web server is properly installed or not, so by default, one web page is automatically means configured in the web servers. Okay. So if I need to check whether my server is properly configured as a web server or not, so I'm in server 2 right now. As you can see that I open the Internet Explorer. Okay, and just I need to just define my IP address from the browser. Let's go for 100.0.0.3. Enter it. So as you can see that by default page is automatically open. Internet Information Services, web server, Windows server. So this if this default page is open, it means that your web server is properly installed. Means that this service is properly installed in your server. Okay, I'll showing you in the server 3 as well. Like see if I minimize this, just wait to install it. Yes, it's installed now. Okay, so now just check once over there also. Let's close the server. Just open your Internet Explorer, and my server 3 IP address is 100.0.0.4 and enter it. So as you can see that IIS server is installed is successfully configured because it opened my default page. Okay, so now as you can see that both the server pages are same. Okay, but now the question is how we can define, how we can identify that the request goes to server 2 or server 3. Okay, so what I do, I modify this default pages. How we can modify this default pages? So first I open the Windows Explorer. Okay, let's go to PC, and in C drive, by default IIS save the page in this folder, inetpub. Double click on that, www root, double click on that. Over there you can see that we have the IIS start. This is the default page we have. Okay, and this is the image file. So just click on edit, and you can see that this is the image file we have. So I just modify this file. So we can easily modify it. If I modified this, so we can easily identify that where the queries goes. Okay, first. So I'll just use the red color over there, this right over there. This is web server 1. Okay, I define like this web server 1, and I save this page only. Just click on save only. Save. That's it. Okay. Now check once. If I access this web server again, so now this time I modified the page, is showing me like this. See, if I go for 0.0.3 and enter it. Okay, right now I'm in 4. So go for 4. So they're showing me it's web server 1. Okay, fine. And in 3, sorry, we need to do right web server 2. This is the web server 2. Server 2 is web server 1, right? So I open it again this and I modify it to 2. Where is it? This is 2, not 1. Okay. Now I go to my server 2, the first web server. Over there I can modify also. Okay. So I save this now. Okay, so I modify the pages. Okay. Now let's configure the failover now. Now check once. I go to NLB. I go for Windows Administrative Tools. Over there we have the option Network Load Balancing Manager is there. Okay, because I already installed NLB features on both the servers. So I just check this. I just open this NLB Manager. Let's open it. So this is the NLB Manager we have. With the help of NLB Manager, we able to manage our NLB clusters. Okay, so first, right now I don't have any clusters. I just right click on that. We can go for new cluster. If you have cluster already, like imagine that if I already create the cluster, so we can connect the cluster. Okay, if we have cluster already, right now I don't have any clusters. So first I need to create the cluster. So I go for new cluster. Okay, now define the host where I create the cluster. So my host IP address is 100.0.0.3. Okay, because right now I'm in server 2, so server 2 IP address is 100.0.0.3. Okay, right now you can see that I'm in server 2. Okay, so now just click on connect. You can see that if everything is fine, it's connected, as you can see that. Okay, now click on next. Now they ask me to set the priority, so we can add 32 servers. It means we have a 32 priorities we have. Okay, so I set this server as a priority 1. It means that first queries come to this server. If this server is busy or down, then queries goes to another server. Okay, so I add the server priority over there, and the default state of this server is started. Okay, it means this server is started in the cluster, and the priority of the server is 1. Now click on next. Now they ask me the cluster IP address, so we need to define the unique cluster IP address. Okay, so click on add over there. So in my case, I define 100.0.0.100, my cluster IP address. Okay, and click on OK. Click on next. Okay, now we have options unicast, multicast, and IGMP multicast. If I set on unicast, it means that at one time it handles only one query at one time. Okay, if I go for multicast, so it handles multiple queries as well. Okay, fine. Like imagine if server 1, server 2, or like imagine that we have a 10 clients. All the out of 10, 5 clients are sends there. They want to access the web page simultaneously at the same time. Okay, so in that case, we need to go for multicast. Okay, so cluster operation mode is multicast. Multicast means that he's able to manage multiple queries at the same time. Then click on next. Now it configured this NLB clustering on all the ports. I don't want to configure NLB clustering in all the ports. Okay, because my IIS works on only port number 80. So I want to click on edit, I want to tell that port range is port number 80 to 80 only, because I want to enable this clustering on port number 80 only. Okay, uncheck this. It is showing you my cluster IP address. The protocols using TCP UDP both. Okay, and you can see the filtering mode is we can use multiple host, and infinity we can use single. Okay, if you want to go for none, you can go for none as well. So right now we're using single infinity. Okay, and filter mode is multiple host. Okay, so it means that it manages the queries from multiple hosts at once at the same time. Now click on OK and click on finish. So as you can see that it created one cluster with the help of IP address 100.0.0.100, and it's adding my server 2. Just wait for it. It's adding the server 2 now. Okay, so it's converged. As you can, it means that the server 2 is added in the cluster. Now I want to add the server 3 as well. Okay, so just right click on that and add host to the cluster. So I want to add server 3 as well, the second web server. So I just give the IP address of my server 3 is 100.0.0.4. Okay, and click on connect. You can use name also. Instead of IP address, you can use name as well. Okay, if you want. Understood both of you till now? Sai, Teja and Teja. Okay. You both are available tomorrow also, or will go class Monday, next class. Sai, Teja and Teja. You both are available tomorrow also, or will go next class on Monday, or will do next class on Monday. Please let me know. Okay. So as you can say that it checks my server and now it's connected. If anything wrong in the server 3, so he's not able to connect this. Okay, so they checks the two things, whether first connectivity, the IP addresses, and the NLB cluster feature I'm installed or not. Okay, so now click on next after that. So it's automatically take the priority 2. As you can say that I'm not able to set now priority 1, because priority 1 I already set in the server 2. Okay, now you can say that I'm not able to set priority on priority 1. So priority 1 we already defined on server 2. Now it's server 3, it's automatically take the priority 2. Okay, now click on next. It's automatically take all the settings which I defined previously, and click on finish. So as you can say that it's adding my server 3 as well in this cluster. Okay, it takes some time. They're showing you pending over there in the status. So when it's converged, it tells you. Okay. So it's added the IP address of my server, and it set the priority to, and the server state is that it started, but still is pending. It's not converged, so we need to wait for converged. Converged means successfully added. As you can see that, see, it's successfully added. Converged means it added successfully in the cluster. Okay, so let's check the things. Now how we can check the things? I just go to my server one, or we can use client as well. So let's use the client. If my client is in the part of my server, part of my, let's see. Yeah, it's a part of my this. Okay, so let's go for open the browser in the client, Internet Explorer, and now I'm a client, so I don't know the web server IP addresses. Okay, administrator give me the cluster address only. Okay, so we don't want to go for I don't want to go, I don't know the web server addresses, so I send my queries to the cluster. Okay, so I'll go for cluster address. My cluster address is 100.0.0.100, and you can say that I enter it, and you can say that first request goes to server 2 now. As you can see, I just defined the cluster address. Okay, so what cluster did? Cluster sends the query to a specified server. Okay, whether it is server 2 or server 1, it doesn't matter. Okay, so once which server is free, okay, it sends the request to, it sends the request to automatically to, okay, it sends a request automatically server 2 now. Why? Because there is no traffic right now, so it automatically request sends to go to this. If imagine that if my server 3 is busy, so it automatically sends a request to server 1. Like imagine right now, it's this request goes to server web server 2, right? Okay, so who is my web server 2? My server 3 is a web server 2, right? Here is my server 3. He is the web server 2. Let's stop this server now. Like imagine I shut down this server simply, or power off this server. So as you can see that the server 3 is down now. Okay. Now I go to my client again, and I just refresh once this. I access again. See, now the request automatically goes to server 1 because server 2 is not there. So it automatically goes to web server 1. Yeah. So this is the way how we can go for NLP clustering.